Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Refine and Shine podcast. I am super excited for my guest today, and I'm so excited you guys get to meet her and hear all that she is about. My guest today is Hailey. Hailey is not your average somatic money coach. She is the calm but sassy bestie who will help you call in the kind of money that makes your nervous system say, "Hell yes, we can handle this." Tired of feeling like your bank account is ghosting you while you manifest with zero results? Hailey's here to fix that. After years as a bookkeeper, hearing every money meltdown under the sun, she knows that real problem isn't just mindset, it's your body, your stories, and the way you actually move with money. Inside her world, you'll drop the what ifs, rewire the old money drama, and anchor the practices that make your business feel safe, juicy, and wildly abundant. If you're done second guessing and ready for hell yes money energy, Hailey's your girl. So thank you, Hailey, for being a guest today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me and thank you for that introduction.
I just love it. And I'm super excited because I know little background, I was born in very poverty. Like I was born at home in the projects, which is like the lowest income housing that you could do. It was an accident that I was born at home. I was early. But the whole thing is that, like that poverty mindset. I remember the government cheese. I remember like having to use like charity, like, going to get the bread, the milk, all of those type powder milk, all the things. So I have a scarcity mindset a little bit about money. And so I wanted to know for you, how did you get into being the money management coach, the somatic money coach?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long story. I'm going to keep it short, but basically I started as a bookkeeper and I was really good, or I am really good at the logistics and the numbers. I am a numbers girly. But what I was finding was even when I was telling my clients about their numbers and what I saw in their numbers, their own money stories were telling them something else about the exact same numbers. So even though I'm the professional, even though I'm telling you your numbers are great, you are successful, your business is growing, their money stories were telling them, I have to hustle harder, I have to push more, I have to work longer hours. Their scarcity mindset was completely ignoring logic, was completely ignoring data, and was telling its own story no matter what it heard. And I was like, that is so fascinating. So then I started diving into my own past and realizing, oh, not only are our nervous system stuck in fight, fawn, or freeze when it comes to relationships, it also shows up in our relationship to money, in our relationship to our business, in our relationship to ourselves. And I had never heard anybody talking about that before, about how your nervous system affects your bank account, even if the facts, even if the data proves otherwise. And so I just did a whole deep dive into my own history, into my own beliefs, into my own nervous system. And that's how I have created my own method for going through your nervous system and for releasing these tensions and releasing these stories that may have helped you in the past, but they're not helping you with the version of yourself that you're growing into.
I love that. I love that. And I think that's so important is because as we continue to evolve, we have to let the past be the past and learn how to accept what God is giving to us or our higher power, whatever the belief is. And we have to make sure that our mindset is right to be able to handle that as well. And so you go and help people do that, exactly that type of shift.
Yep, that's exactly what I do. So again, whether your bank account is $2, $2 million, whatever it is, I really help you just understand why that story was helpful for you, because it's obviously there for a reason. It kept you safe at one point in time and you have evidence of it. That's why you believe it. So it's about creating evidence of the new reality that you want to build. So if scarcity, if the hustle harder mentality, I have to do more to make more, to be more, is the mentality. Why do we believe that? What's the evidence we have of that? And how do we shift the story and give ourselves new evidence? Because I heard the funniest thing yesterday. It was like, if you touched a stove and it was hot, and then I looked at you and I said, the stove's not hot, would you believe me?
No,
No,
because I
because
already touched
you
it.
just touched it. You know it's hot. So I have to teach you, oh, the oven's been off You can now put your hand in there. It's been 30 minutes. The oven is no longer hot. This is the evidence I have to tell you it's no longer hot. And then maybe you'll try it. Maybe you'll believe me. But I have to give you evidence that the new thing is true. You're not just going to believe it.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. And so how do you help people with this? Like, how do you do your
Yes.
coaching?
Absolutely. So I love to do a combination, but that doesn't mean that you have to do a combination with me. If you don't want to do the bookkeeping side, that's totally fine. But that's really where the magic happens. Because what's happening is when you look at your bank account, you're already telling yourself a story. Either you're avoiding the account, you don't want to look at it at all, or when you look at it, you believe that that number reflects your worth. And if that number is not what you believe it should be, which is a trick because everybody starts with, I just want to make $1,000 months in my business. Okay, I just want to make 5,000. Okay, I just want 10. Okay, I just want 20. And you keep raising the ceiling and you're never quite happy with what you've achieved. And so when that happens, we have to find what the actual benchmark of success is. What you're actually looking for is freedom. What you're actually looking for is stability. And so if the stability isn't coming, even though you're increasing your revenue, you're going to burn out because you've given yourself an unachievable goal. So it's about rewriting that story of, okay, I don't need 5K months, I need stability. What does stability look like for me? What is my definition of stability? And where else in my life can I find that stability? So it really dives deep. It's not just surface level of, oh, let me look at your numbers. Okay, your numbers say you're good. It really is, what do you believe? And that's why this work isn't cookie cutter. And I see too many things out there that are like, say this affirmation and your life will change overnight. And it's not that simple and it's not cookie cutter.
No, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. And I think that we all have a different definition of success too, right? And so, in understanding what success looks like, it doesn't necessarily mean like you hear it all the time where there's millionaires and billionaires who keep like working and working and hustling, and they're never actually feel like they're really truly successful. So, success doesn't necessarily have to be the money in your bank account. It could be just all kinds of other things because if you feel like you're never being successful, you're going to just keep hustling and hustling, and then it's going to go into the burnout. And when we burn out, we crash, and then we lose you could lose everything, right, with the burnout and all the other things, or we get sick and all those other things. You hear it all the time where people feel like, millionaires who die very young because they have just burnt themselves out in extreme exhaustion. So we have to really figure out what is success, what is our definition of success, and is it something that is tied to a dollar amount or something, different. And success could also just be a feeling like I did the best that I could do and be okay with that. And
Exactly.
so I love that. And I also love that, when people think that they have to hustle harder or work longer hours, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to drive an increase in revenue. In fact, we have to, like, I'm a productivity person and I look at like what's your processes. And a lot of times you could be just working on the wrong things and not really realizing that the more that you're spending time on, it's not what you should be spending time on. You can actually increase your productivity, delete the waste in your processes and actually be more efficient and have more time freedom.
Exactly.
I love that. And so when you do the coaching, you say you can do the bookkeeping and then you also work with the whole the mindset and the feelings around money and all of the other things like that.
Absolutely. So, for example, do you know what reconciliation is? I like to explain it just in case the audience doesn't know, but basically, reconciliation is within your software that you track your finances and within your bank, you just make sure that they're saying the exact same thing because mistakes can happen
Mhm.
when you're managing your finances. So, reconciliation is one of the biggest stressors of my clients. They hate it, they hate going in there, they hate reconciling, they say it takes forever, it stresses them out. When I reconcile, it takes less than 30 seconds because I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this. I understand how the system works. I understand how to keep up with everything so that it is easy. But if I go to my client and I say, nope, it's easy, just do it, they're going to look at me and be like, no, I've told you that this is
Mhm.
hard and I hate it and I'm avoiding it. So what I do is I go in and I do it first and then I show up and I say, let's do it together. And then we do it together and I show them how easy it is. So when we compare the bookkeeping and the mindset, I take something off your plate while also adding something. What I'm also finding in a lot of coaching programs is you come to a coach and you say, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overworked, my systems aren't working, my nervous system is fried, please help. And that coach goes, great, I want you to sit down for an hour every day and journal. Okay, well, I just told you I don't have time and you've just
Mhm.
added something to my plate. So I like to do both. I'm going to take the bookkeeping off your plate so that you have that extra time, and then I'm going to give you something that's not going to take a lot of time, but it's going
Mhm.
to bring you so much relief that you then have more energy to continue on with your day, because that's also the disconnect that I'm seeing is I'm burnt out, I'm tired. Okay, here's more work. And you're like,
Mhm.
"No."
Right, right. And I love how you explained it like that because I think that and part of what I do, is like I help people with their time management. And of course, a lot of people say that they're overwhelmed. So I'm not going to make you go and do another task. What we're going to figure out is where is your energy going and what is draining you? And what are the things that you're doing that you can delegate to somebody else? So if bookkeeping is draining you and you're spending so much time trying to reconcile the books, trying to figure out where the money's going, figuring out how am I going to be sustainable for the next 6 months, hand that over to somebody who's an expert at it, like you, who can take that off their plate, and then that gives them more time to work on the things that they're good at, as a business owner, creating new products or whatever it is that they're doing, or designing a new menu if they're a restaurant owner. There's so many things that people can do. The thing that I find that most people do, even as business owners, entrepreneurs, is that they want to hold everything into themselves. They want to do everything themselves because they don't want to spend the money to invest in other people. They don't wanna feel like they're a failure if they let go of some things, but you gotta have that trust that there's somebody out there who really loves Excel, like I love Excel. So give me help me, I'll figure out your spreadsheets, like I love that. Let me figure out your processes and where the waste is. Let me do that for you. I will help you with that. Therefore, the business owner can create the other things, just like the bookkeeping. If it's something that I don't like to do, like tax season's coming up, I don't wanna do I'm like, every year, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna January, keep my records, February, keep my records, like all the other things. And then it comes like by the time I'm like May, I'm like burnt out, right? But
Mhm.
that's the thing, like it's an overwhelm. But there is somebody like you who can help somebody keep up with their records year long and help them so that when it comes to the part where it gives you anxiety and you dread it, you're like, oh, here it is. Here's your files. We're ready to go.
Exactly. And I think one thing that's really important about that story is, especially this time of year, the beginning of year, we tell ourselves, okay, this year I'm going to keep up with my books. This year I'm going to exercise every day. This year I'm going to, and you set those New Year's resolutions. And then come May, when you've fallen off, what is the story you then tell yourself? I'm not disciplined. I
Mhm.
couldn't do it. I'm not the type of person that I thought I was. You start telling yourself these negative stories. But what if the story is you were never meant to do that task in the first place? You were never
Mhm.
meant to do it in that way. You need the information. You need your bookkeeping information. You need to move your body. We know these things. But maybe the way you're going about it was never the right way for you. And instead of telling yourself that there's something wrong with you, there was something wrong with the system. There was something wrong with the process. And handing that over to somebody else is not a failure. It's actually so liberating to be like, "Oh my god, I don't have to do that anymore, and I
Mhm.
still get the information I need." Amazing.
Yes, yes, I love that. And it's like when something is draining, and an easy way to figure that out is if something is draining you, like for me, like figuring out like the bookkeeping or whatever, if it's something that drains me, that's the task you delegate because it's
Yes.
not meant for you to do. And so to really look at where your energy is, and if you're waiting and procrastinating, that's another way that you can figure it out. If you're procrastinating on something because you don't really want to do it and it drains your energy, that is a task that you need to delegate and give it to somebody who loves doing those types of things, like the money.
Yeah, that green check mark gives me so much satisfaction, and everyone else is like, "You're crazy," and I'm like, "I know."
But that's the thing about us is that we're not meant to know everything, but we are good to know our strengths. And some of our strengths, like for you, your strength is money. Your strength is looking at the bookkeeping, looking at the story, or helping to see the projections and things like that. That is your strength, and that is your God-given talent. And that's not for everybody. There could be somebody else who can be really good at something, whatever it is that they're good at. Like, then stop trying to hold on to something that you're not really good at and having it drain you and burn you out, right?
Exactly.
Is your business constantly busy, but still inefficient? If your team is working hard but things keep falling through the cracks, it's not a people problem, it's a process problem. This is where Refine Consulting comes in. I help businesses simplify operations and build systems that actually work. Here's how I do it, in just a few days. First, we get clarity. We identify where your time, energy, and money are being wasted. Then, we map your process, step by step, so you can actually see what's happening. Next, we simplify. We cut out delays, redundancies, and anything that's slowing you down. Then we build a system your team can follow, so everything doesn't depend on you. And finally, we implement, so you walk away with a clear plan and real results. No more guessing, no more chaos, just better systems. If you're ready to streamline your business and get your time back, go to refineconsultingllc.com and book your free discovery call. Let's refine your processes and help you shine.
And so when people work with you, how do, like you said, so what type of, do you have like a masterminds or coaching, or like how do you do your, I mean, you do coaching, but how do you do it? Do you work with group people or one-on-one, and how does that all work?
Yeah, so I do both. I do a really big 6-month group program that dives into both somatics and bookkeeping. And we have one-on-one calls, we have group calls, but it's really to show you that you're not alone in business. I think a lot of female entrepreneurs really truly believe that they are alone and that they have to do everything themselves, because that's what we do in the home, right? That's what we've been
Mhm.
taught, that we take care of everything, that it's all on us, the whole mental load, the whole cooking, the whole cleaning, the whole childcare, like the whole house is on us. So we take that mentality and we put it to our business, and we're like, the whole house, the whole business is all on us. And that's not true. So with this group program, it shows you that even if somebody is stuck in fight mode and you're stuck in fawn mode, you actually have a lot of the same tension. You have a lot of the same stories. Your body has just learned how to react to it differently in a way that makes you feel safe. So what we're really doing is we're creating a sense of safety and that we're not alone. And then also for the more personal information, so the bookkeeping, the numbers, that kind of stuff, the more private stories that we don't want to share in a group setting, I do one-on-one coaching with that, because it is good to feel like you have a community, but you don't necessarily want all of your personal information out there, even if we have created a community of trust and privacy, you know?
Mhm. So I would, people are very private about their money. And how do you get people to trust you to handle their bookkeeping?
Yeah, that has been a bit of a struggle. I think in life and in all things, we get to a breaking point. We hold on to a story of shame or guilt or avoidance, and then once we're so sick of our own shit or so sick of feeling a certain way, we don't care anymore. We're willing to share anything. We're just looking for a solution. And I get people all the way who are super comfortable, who give 0 Fs. They're like, please take it over. Here's all my information. To the people who have met their breaking point and they just need help. And the somatics is what's really helped me with this. Is I don't have, again, a cookie cutter way of speaking to my clients. I don't have just one personality type that I work with. If you need me to be super soft and gentle and walk you through it step by step, I will. If you need me to be the tough love, sassy, like, girl, get your shit together, I will. But for me, it's really about my customers, my clients, because nobody is the same, and we
Mhm.
all need a little bit of gentleness and a little bit of toughness. And
Mhm.
so those stories, when someone decides to be vulnerable enough to share them with me, I reflect their energy back to them, because it's all about being seen and heard and understood. And nobody gets that about money. We think it's just a tool. We think it's just something we earn. We think it's just, but it truly is our whole story that we hold about it.
Mhm. I love that. And I love that you're meeting the people where they're at. Like, I think that that's so important. I know that a lot of people think that if you just read this book, it's going to help you with everything. If you do this, it's going to help you with everything. But sometimes you need that tough love. Sometimes you need, and some people, reading a book is not easy enough. Like reading art is not going to be the thing. They need someone to tell them exactly what to do. And I think that that's so important as a coach, that you have to be able to adapt to your people that you're coaching. And I think that your customers, it's so important. It's not a one size fits all. And I think that that is one thing that people need to understand, that you need to have somebody that is going to fight for you, fight with you, or and show you the way, so that way you understand what they're doing. And if you're one of the people that just like, I'm done, I don't want to hear about it, just tell me what do I owe, what do I not, then that's the person you then you can adapt to that too. And I think that that's what's really important, is that just to surrender is one of the biggest things. You just need to surrender and realize if it's stressing you out a lot, it's not yours to, you need to give that burden to somebody else. And it's not to say that, that they're going to help you save all this money, but they're going to show you what the real picture is too.
Exactly. And knowing your numbers is one of the biggest stress relievers in life. A lot of us believe if we know our numbers, it's going to stress us out more, but you're already stressed about not knowing. And I promise you, when you look at your numbers from an unbiased perspective, it's outside of your worthiness, it's outside of your identity. It's just a number. Every business has slow season. Every business starts and has startup costs. Every business starts in the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. And every business takes time to grow. And so viewing it from that perspective and helping my clients view it from that perspective, that is one of my biggest passions. Is you've never failed, you've just learned.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so important too, because we just think like, okay, if I don't have this dollar amount and we're tied to a dollar amount, then that's my worth. And it's like, well, no, not necessarily. And one of the things I love to tell people is like, every day you got to celebrate your wins, whatever you do in life, everything. If you were like, I had surgery and I've been trying to, in my pelvic area. So I've been trying to get my body back in shape. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to plank for 3 minutes. I can't. The first day I did 20 seconds, but now I'm like 75 seconds into it. And I'm like, okay, every day and I'm celebrating it. I post it on social media and I'm like, I don't even care if people talk crap, but it's the thing is, you have to celebrate your wins. And when you look at your business, you can't just say, okay, I failed because my number is not this. Okay, how many customers were you able to help? How many people have become long-term clients? How many people, whatever the story is, whatever business you are, maybe you help people create websites. How many websites did you create? Maybe you only did one, but you have somebody that you have 5 appointments for next week, right? So you're good. Like the podcast, when I started the podcast, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get guests. And now I have a large queue and I have people who cannot book with me until a few months out, which is great. You just got to put your foot forward and put yourself out there, and also be open to receiving help. And thinking about what am I spending too much time on? What is draining me, and what is taking my energy away and taking me away from the joy that I should be experiencing every single day, right?
Exactly. And the way I like to think about it is, if you think about a toddler, a baby, and they say their first word, you're like, oh my gosh, they said mom. Ah. You don't say, oh, they're not speaking in full sentences yet. You're
Mm-hmm.
so excited about that first word. And so we need to take that excitement that we give to new life into the new life of our business. You are a baby in business, and that's okay. And so your first podcast interview, your first dollar, your first discovery call, your first, you need to celebrate that like you would a baby's first word. Like, oh my gosh, they said mom, or oh my gosh, they said dog. Like, that was my niece, dog was her first word. And we were like, oh my gosh, dog. And that's what we need to celebrate. But we've gotten so conditioned, for whatever reason, to only celebrate the result, to not
Mm-hmm.
celebrate the journey. And life is all about the journey. It's about the learning. It's about the growing. It's about the, oh my gosh, look what I discovered today.
No, absolutely. And the same thing, going back to the baby, and you talked about it a little bit earlier about failing. Like a baby, when they're learning to walk and when they fall down, they don't like, okay, I failed to walk the first few steps, I'm not going to try again. No, we continue to help them continue on the journey, and we can help them get back up. And that's the same thing with our business. When we have down months, or maybe something didn't work right, maybe a product isn't the way we thought it was going to be, or whatever it is, we got to get up and keep going, because I feel that our higher power, God, is for me, didn't put something on our hearts to create to have us fail. Like everything is for a reason and for a lesson. And if we just give up right away, that's like like riding a bike. You don't just like when you fell first, you do like, okay, I'm not going to get on again. I mean, some people may be like that. But we just keep going, right? Like driving a car, you got to learn. You're going to have mistakes, but you got to just keep going.
I was at the park the other day and this little girl was chasing after a duck and the duck was just sitting there and she would take one step and fall, but she was so determined. And I was like, that is how we all need to be she was so focused on that duck. The duck never moved. She never made it. Her mom picked her up before she got there, but she was determined to get to that duck. And it was the cutest thing to watch.
No, I love that. And it's just all about perspective, right? And I love that you said that. Like I can just I'm just like picturing this duck and this little toddler trying to get up and go to it and get up and fall and all the things. Like just get up and keep going.
And I think in the age of social media, we have the dichotomy of we see all these people who have been successful and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't post. I'm not like them. But then the content that I actually watch and that I really enjoy is watching people fail, is watching people's journey of like, I sent this email and it was terrible and I know it was terrible. And now I've bettered the email, or this is what my program was. It wasn't actually helping people. So I've adjusted it and now it's working. Like I want to see those stories. I want to see the little girl get up and down because she's chasing this duck.
No, I think that's so important. And you brought up a good point is that we always look at people of where they are now. But if we would go back in there, like we just see a snapshot of their story, right? It's just a reel, like a 7 second, 30 seconds, whatever it is. But if we were to go back in like reels like 10 years ago, which weren't even a thing, right? You would see how many times that they couldn't do what they were supposed to do, how many times that they failed, or how many times because sometimes we only show my husband calls it the highlight reel. People only show a highlight and reuse that same highlight over and over, but don't talk about the true things. It's not the real you, is what he always says. And those are the things we got to realize that not everything is happiness, not everything is successful, but people only want to highlight that. But you got to remember everybody has their ups and downs. Every business has their ups and downs. Just because yours maybe, you just got to figure it out. What are you winning and what are you losing at? And whatever you're losing at may not be a bad thing. You maybe just need some tweaks and some adjustments. Maybe you're not spending the right money and that's on the right things. And that's where the bookkeeper comes in, right?
Exactly. You got to track your ROI. If you're spending $1,000 a month on a social media manager, but you're getting 0 clients from social media, you're not getting an ROI. And so it's either that manager wasn't right or your clients are not on social media. And that's okay. You don't have to be on social media in this day and age. You and I didn't meet on social media. We met through a networking, avenue.
Coffee chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's so important. I think that that's amazing and a great perspective to look at it. So as people work with you, you said that you do either a one-on-one or is it a 6-month program, I believe you said?
Yeah, so I have a 3-month one-on-one program. I have a 6-month group, which is a mixed group one-on-one program. And then I also have a few like one-off sessions. So I do a rewrite my money story session. It's 90 minutes. And it really is just to dive into what your story around money is. Why do you have that story? How has it kept you safe? And then I help you rewrite it because I'm also a big fan of there are some affirmations out there that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a really good one. But if somebody else writes it, you don't always feel connected to it. So I help you learn or I help you write your own story. And then we figure out where it lives in your body, and I give you specific exercises for where tension is being held in your body. We rewrite your story together, and then you have this beautiful movement affirmation mix that you can do on a daily basis to help you move towards the goal that you want. Because for most of us, we have the idea, we live in this fun little fantasy world of what we want our life to look like. But when it comes to the action steps, that's where we're like, ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Ooh, that feels scary. Ooh. But if we can break it down into bite-size up and downs, eventually we'll get to the duck.
I love that. I love that. And I think that's so important is that we have this fantasy of what we think, what we want, but then we're too scared to take the action. And I feel that it's so important. If we have that, if that is our dream and that's our vision, you got to put your foot forward. You got to take the action, even if, like you said, you're going to have the ups and downs to get to the duck. So important.
Yeah, the duck's not going to chase you. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe if you have bread in your hand. That's a different strategy.
Yeah. That's so good. And so how can people connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I do free calls. I know it's kind of crazy in this day and age. A lot of people charge, but I don't. I love chit chatting with everybody. I want to hear your story. I want to connect. So please book a discovery call with me. I call them chai chats because I don't drink coffee, but bring whatever beverage of choice you love. You can find that on my link tree or on my website. You can also email me at info@HaileyAnn, ANN.co.com. And I'm hosting a free somatic wealth event very, very soon. So if anybody is interested in what somatics is, how do I, figure out where it lives in my body, what can I do? It's a free event. It's 90 minutes. It's super fun, super interactive. I promise I'm not just going to talk at you. It's going to be a conversation, and that's going to be very, very soon. So there's lots of ways to connect with me. Social media is fun. I post about my travels. I'm currently in New Zealand, and so yeah, just any way that feels comfortable to you and to your nervous system. I promise I'm there.
I love that. And I will make sure that I have all your links in the show notes so people can connect with you because I think that's so important. If you're listening to this podcast and you love Hailey's energy, because I love it, she's just truly amazing. You need to like just get in there. And if she is vibing right with you, then that is God telling you that you need to work with her. So connect with her.
And even if you just want to tell me your story, I want to make that very clear in that even if it's not something you're interested in, if you like my energy, please just chit chat with me. We are not alone as entrepreneurs or as stay at home people. So please just reach out.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And as we wrap up, I always ask my guests, what is one thing, a word, a phrase, an action, something, a book to read, some type of thing that they can do today in order to help them start to refine and shine?
Yeah, this is my favorite. I tell everyone this one. It's a fun little morning activity. Every single morning, I want you to open your bank account. I want you to look at it, and I want you to say, I see your potential, and I'm so excited to watch you grow. And then after you close out your bank account, I want you to go stand in the mirror, brush your teeth, do your makeup, do your hair, whatever it is. And I want you to look at yourself and I want you to say, I see your potential and I'm so excited to watch you grow. Because that is true no matter what number is in your bank account, no matter where you live, no matter what you're wearing, no matter what your hair looks like, no matter what clothes you're wearing, like no matter what, I see your potential and I'm so excited to watch you grow. And I want you to see your potential and I want you to be so excited to watch you grow.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I love that. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.